mine, I think.
All right, I just started mine now as well. All right. I know I should have tweeted out on Twitter first that we were going to go live, but as everything around here, a lot of things happened at the last minute. So, and plus there were a lot of things that they need to be taken care of. Finally, I wasn't able to because of my work schedule there.
Right.
I know, but then again, we're still looking for some new people at our place there. So, which pretty much explains why I haven't been able to do much of anything outside of work there.
Right.
You know. Okay, so we ready to roll?
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 36 of our music memory series. Arknolia and the Doctor, Dr. Earl, and Arknolia Strogabine are here tonight. It's been about after a couple weeks away so far because, of course, my work schedule and some of the situations Ark has been going through there. And tonight's episode is dedicated to the memory of Arknolia's mother, who sadly passed away. May she be with God's arms. And I figure we do a little dedication to her as well for giving birth to a cool dude like Arknolia here.
Of course, it's kind of weird. It's sort of a metal show we're doing this with, but hey, that's okay.
Yeah, but then again, there is it is a proper dedication. We should do here. We got to give kudos to those out there. So, as you know, it's been a while since we've been on the air because, as I mentioned, because of my work schedule and Argnolia's situations on the side there. Plus, we've been, but we've been keeping tabs on each other's what we've been sending each other. Argnolia's got a hold of me through Gmail, and it got a hold of him through that as well. And he sent me a couple clips there for the band Frigid Pink there, one by the group Clearlight, that song Mr. Blue that you sent me. I think you mentioned that one time before. It had the 1984 approach to it from George
Oh,
Orwell.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Got some great guitar work later in the song.
Yeah, that's true there as well. And plus, Frigid Pink, their cover of House of the Rising Sun, which I remember hearing on Detroit radio for many years back when I was a wee teenager there. And plus, the other song that he sent me was pretty good as well.
Yeah, I sent him some early psychedelic, and I sent him a very early prog by Procol Harum that for some reason YouTube has in two parts. But
really, wow, yeah. That's how. But then again, that's how YouTube is. I guess whoever uploaded it back then, must have obviously didn't re-upload it. Because nowadays they can have tracks and videos go up to 6 or 10 hours there. Hell, there's this thing on YouTube where you're able to listen to the engine noise from the Star Trek Next Generation Enterprise for 24 hours.
oh gosh,
Yeah.
that
is a trip. That is a trip and a half right there.
Yeah, but I thought tonight we'd kind of get into metal before it was declared metal.
Yeah, the
because
hard
they didn't
stuff
really
there.
didn't really call it that at first.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like, gee, this music's different. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to the hard stuff here, needless to say, folks. This is the stuff that kind of like was the predecessor to the heavy metal genre. Before, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, before bands later like Judas Priest, Uriah Heep.
We'll probably make it to Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple.
Definitely
But
there.
it's a good idea to touch on some of the early stuff because it kind of was the predecessor.
Yeah.
I mean, like you mentioned Frigid Pink.
Yes.
They have, I think, 4 albums, maybe something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But that first album is almost a metal prelude. Dr. Earl heard 2 songs I sent him.
Yes.
And I think he will not question the fact that I'm calling it metal.
That's right. What's up, YR, in the chat here? You may remember me and YR did the show Metal Maniacs last summer there.
Yeah. And we'll get to Judas Priest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's got to get to the still the reigning metal gods next to Iron Maiden there.
Yeah. And some other groups that were early metal is Blue Cheer,
Yes, their cover, their album, what's it called? The Victimus Eruptum, I think it's called.
Vincibus Eruptum.
I see. That's right. Came out in the '60s there, and this was like, as I described, it was like one of the first power trios next to Cream.
Yeah, and their big one was Summertime Blues, a cover of that song, which
Yeah,
is
which I remember hearing on the old MTV back in the day there, and it was
and
just
it's
like
highly different from the Eddie Cochran version.
brutal. Instead of the low voicing, I love to help you, son, but you're too young to vote. They would replace that with either something on the guitar, something on the bass, or something on the drums there.
Yeah, and they had well, that whole album is very solid metal,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
yeah.
Uh, there's a song on there called Second Time Around that's really good.
Yeah.
They did a version of Parchment Farm.
Mm.
Try to remember what else is on that album. It's slipping my mind.
All right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other groups that were big then that were pre-metal was Iron
Steppenwolf,
Butterfly,
Iron Butterfly
Steppenwolf.
with Steppenwolf. We got to include Steppenwolf as well. John Cann, the boys. They had some pretty. They were kind of like a more darker sound rather than the hippie '60s there. When you think about it, there, the cover, the front and back cover of their live album, titled simply Steppenwolf Live, featured a wolf with its mouth open and a skull buried within the black curtain there.
Yeah, very good group. They had some good songs. Their
Good
first
song, yeah.
album is classic all the way through,
Yeah. Hmm.
and Iron Butterfly. Well, their first album's name was Heavy, so
Yeah.
kind of told a prelude of what was coming there.
Yeah.
And they were a combination of metal psychedelic. They
Yeah, it was.
did a little bit of both. They were a lot of the early bands did that sort of thing. The early metal type bands.
Yeah, going harder. It was like Plus, at the time, you got to remember around the 1960s period with all the riots, the anti-war protests, the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy at that time. And
Yeah,
a lot of resentment towards the Nixon administration at that time was in full throttle. Vietnam was in full throttle just as well. And a lot of people had a lot of aggression they wanted to let out, and then they figure the best way to do it is through their instruments and microphones and amplifiers.
and there's a lot of other groups that came out that time that were not metal, but kind of dealt close. I'm thinking of like Jefferson Airplane, which they were
Yeah,
more.
it was
They
more
weren't so much metal. They were kind of
psychedelic.
more psychedelic
Yes, it
and
was.
underground, but they did deal it. Excuse me.
Volunteer, Surrealistic Pillow, and of course the classic Alice in Wonderland inspired White Rabbit. A tune that I
Yeah,
guess you remember when they got back together in 1989, they were kind of like apologizing for that song because of all the drug references related to that track.
yeah, because apparently that's not what they meant,
Yeah,
or that's what they say. They
exactly.
just meant it as a nod to Alice in Wonderland.
It was, but it kind of refers to a saying, you know, um, here's Alice in this children's storybook, a classic one for that matter, which of course, I remember seeing the Disney version many years ago. Of
Yeah,
course, all of a sudden, she's drinking this. She turns about 6 feet high. She drinks this. She's about small as an ant. Like, wait a minute, don't you feel high when you high and mighty when you drink booze?
yeah,
Yeah, just so kind of like so you basically see the references that we're talking about here when you listen to that song here.
Yeah, that
And let's not forget, don't forget what the good man said, feed your head. And the good man there, I guess they were referring to at that time was Dr. Timothy Leary.
yeah,
Which also was the subject of a Moody Blues song called Legend of a Mind.
yeah. Timothy Leary's dead. No, 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 no. He's outside looking in.
Yeah, though sadly Timothy Leary unfortunately is dead. I guess he passed away in 1999, from what I understand.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Guru, I remember this one period in one of the Cheech and Chong movies. I think it was next movie where I guess Cheech was in a mental institution. He was for some dumb reason he was in one of those straitjackets, and he was asking for the key to get out of that jacket. Dr. Timothy Leary comes in, gives him, I just gave you the key, open your mouth, and it gives him a pill, and Cheech starts tripping the fuck out, man.
Yeah,
Anybody who's ever seen that movie knows what I'm talking about there. Definitely.
I haven't seen that movie, and I really should, I suppose.
I did. We used to. We watched it up in smoke. The next movie, Nice Dreams. Things are tough all over.
Yeah, I heard all the albums, but
Yeah,
actually had them.
yeah. The only one I didn't really see was Born in East LA because it was just Cheech by himself. I guess at that time they decided to split apart for a while because Cheech was appearing in all these movies like what was it? That one with Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney, From Dusk Till Dawn. He was in that movie for a
Yeah.
while. He was also a guest starring on Nash Bridges with John Johnson, and he was going everywhere at place. He was appearing in all these movies and TV programs, and sadly, Chong was like sticking to the pot humor at the time when pot humor was not really that fun no more. I remember this was
No.
in the 1980s. Things had switched over. Weed was replaced by cocaine and everything else.
Yeah, and cocaine jokes are kind of off the wall. Of
Yeah,
course, pot jokes were sort of too, but hey,
yeah,
that's okay.
yeah. But if it was done right, which Cheech and Chong did, it was all right then.
Yeah, and after all, it was humor.
Yeah, it was. All right, so shall we dive into these groups up here? I should say.
Yeah, I've got lists for various groups. I don't. Let's see what I got here.
All right, there.
Well, I thought what might be interesting is, gee, I wished I could read my writing.
Wow.
Oh, never mind. They're definitely not metal. He's
Okay.
definitely not metal.
Who's not
We
metal?
already did. Oh, the band.
Oh yeah, the band. Robbie Robinson and Lee Von Helmet, the boys there.
Yeah,
And
Bob
Garth
Dylan's
and Gar-
backup.
Yeah, the Bob they started out as Bob Dylan's backup band. They later became their own group. And of course, who cannot forget Garth Hudson appearing in that video by the group The Fall called "The Walls Came Down." They're from 1983.
Yeah. Well, the first piece of paper I picked up, I've got Black Sabbath and Ozzy,
Oh
and this
yeah,
is
the original.
during the original Black Sabbath. I won't get into the second Black Sabbath on this list.
Yeah, yeah. That won't be until the 1980s there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did 15, and
Oh
believe me, it
yeah.
was hard to cut this back.
Oh yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's difficult for me to come up with lists because I gotta leave this out. I forget about that one out, and it's like and it gets me all riled up all the hell. So I just let Arca do a lot more lists because he does a lot better than what I do. Me, I get too frustrated because as we mentioned with the Moody Blues one time there, I forgot to include this album, that track, this song there.
Yeah. Okay, number 15 I got is Children of the Grave.
Absolutely, a song that's basically as the line, children of tomorrow live in the tears that fall today, sums it all up. Kids who will grow up in poverty, a lot of in a broken household, a lot of issues going on between mom and dad and the relatives. Pretty much, that line pretty much sums it up there.
Yeah. Number 14 I got is Under the Sun.
Yeah, from Volume 4, which, by the way, there's a super deluxe of that album just released not too long ago, including original demos, live recordings, booklets, photos, and everything else.
Yeah. Number 13 I got is a National Acrobat.
Yeah, great song from Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath there.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my tracks, one of the favorite tracks from that album, along with the synth-driven "Who Are You."
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's on my list. Well, no.
Ah,
Number 12 I got is The Writ.
the Rit, yes. And by the way, that album, the bulk of that album was written out of frustration. At that time, Black Sabbath were going through issues with their management at that time, and I guess Ozzy received a writ, but before he was supposed to hit on stage there, I guess, during that period. I
Yeah.
guess at that time, let me look it up here. What a writ for those out there, what they're talking about here, because it says here it's the last track from the album Sabotage here.
Right.
Let's see here, and there's a lot of angry lyrics in that track there directed towards their management at the time. Now, a writ is a order issued by a legal authority with administrative or judicial powers, typically a court. I guess
Right.
that's, and at that time, as I mentioned, they were going through a lot of lawsuits between their management because management at that time was owning the cars, the mansions, their household goods up there, having most control
Yeah.
of the money there. And apparently, they signed away a lot of things naively without really realizing, having to take a good look at the contracts that they were about to sign there. In fact, Tony Iommi to this very day says, read your contracts very, very carefully before signing anything. There's always
Yeah, because
that
they'll
one,
hide stuff.
yes, there's always that one particular or two clause that's out there that's going to fuck you in the ass raw.
Yeah. And number 11 I got is an instrumental, but I really like it.
Yep.
Superstar.
Oh, yeah, from Sabotage as well with the rock
Right.
guitar and the choir there. In
Right.
fact, that was their opening theme music. They would play a recording of that before they would hit the stage there many times.
Yeah, I liked a few of their instrumentals really well.
Fluff,
And that one just happened. Yeah, Fluff is cool.
yeah, from Sabbath, Blaze Sabbath. That's I played that for my mom one time there. It's just like that's Black Sabbath. Holy cow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. As well as the Laguna Sunrise from Volume 4.
Yep. Yep. Number 10 I got Hole in the Sky.
Oh yeah, from Sabotage as well.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that album on an 8-track that was given that was bought for me from some garage sale at one of my old stereo systems. Like, wow, this album is very powerful here, and it is.
Oh, it is definitely a powerful album.
Oh yeah,
Number 9 I got is a ballad, Changes.
oh yeah. Which, by the way, if you haven't heard the Charles Bradley cover, definitely go check it out. There, he made it to a lot more soulful than the Black Sabbath version. And
Yeah.
it kind of beats the version that Ozzy did with his daughter Kelly years later on.
Yeah.
Because I heard that version, I was like, nope, I don't think so. I just don't think so. For those who don't know, it's about a romantic breakup there, and it features the piano, Ozzy's vocals, and the haunting mellotron playing along with it.
Yeah. It's a great song.
Very great song. Great use for the mellotron and the echo that was used on that track, definitely.
I got number 8 is Hand of Doom.
Oh yeah, which is, by the way, is one of the best anti-drug songs that they have ever done. Listen
Yeah.
to the lyrics. Play that song for any recovering alcoholic or a recovering addict out there, and seal. Definitely, I wanted to send that to a couple people who were going through drug issues in the past, saying, "Hey, you're going to end up like the person they're talking about in this song if you don't stop."
Yeah. Number 7 I got Snowblind.
Yep, and we know what that song's about. Cocaine, The Great White
Yeah,
High.
yeah. 6 I got is Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Oh yeah, one of the great ones there, dear. By the way, the "You Bastards" that Ozzy shouts out before the guitar solo, that was directed towards the critics who were
Yeah.
slamming their music left and right.
Most times critics don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, the same. Yeah, they did the same thing to Led Zeppelin when they first started out. So, but then again, you notice anything that the critics don't like, the fans are gonna love.
Pretty much that's the case.
Yep.
Number 5 I got is Megalomania.
Oh yeah, that's a haunting track from Sabotage as well.
Yeah, I really like that track.
Hey, YR, if you're still listening to the program, feel free. I'll let me know in the chat if you want me to add you in, dude.
Yeah, you could probably contribute to this subject.
Yeah, because well, he definitely could contribute when it comes to Judas Priest because he has become a massive Judas Priest fan. There, he's got a lot of their shirts. He does a lot. We remember a couple of times we did a few covers of their songs on our old show, Metal Maniacs, last year.
Yeah. Number 4 I got is After Forever.
Oh yeah, which by the way is their pro Jesus song.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, and definitely a couple pastors reviewed that song, and they said that song was in the right direction there. I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how this group kind of just goes through. One time they do this, next time they do that. Next, they jump around.
Yeah, they what, and I guess one of the reasons why they recorded that track because at that time there was a lot of backlash towards them because because of the name, the image, the album covers. You got to
Right.
remember. I mentioned this one time during our Black Sabbath spotlight that Warner Brothers Records, our U.S. label, held a record release party for the first album, and the master of ceremonies happened to be Anton LaVey, the head of the Church of Satan.
Yeah.
You know,
Not a good start, but
nope, but that
they
and
got
that.
over it.
Yep, they did get over it. Now people really realizing what those whole songs were about, the whole story was. Whereas back then, all the parents and Angelists out there were like condemning them left and right. But then you also got to realize that was the record company's part as well. If you like
Right.
say if you're in a group that's called 62 Guns. On every album cover, you're going to have either a shotgun or someone carrying a gun on every album cover to fit that image.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 I got is, well, the beginning song,
Yeah.
Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah. To be the one that started it all. I remember hearing that. That's probably. I took that song to a goth club. It was a goth night back in Detroit there around 1994, and I wanted to play it for the DJ to play it because to give the kids, the people out there, where the goth rock scene partly came from, other than Screaming Jay Hawkins, other from Led Zeppelin as well, Black Sabbath mentioned,
Right.
yeah, because they did play a big part within the underground goth rock scene, you know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. YR, I'm going to add you to the call, dude. I got to add you here because I know you would love to contribute to this.
My number 2 is War Pigs.
Oh, yeah, we know the basis of that song. Have you ever seen the video for that track?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and there's a lot of videos for that from featuring the scenes from a video game, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Great song.
by the way, that song was originally called War Purglas, which meaning it was the Sabbath of the Witches. I mean, there was footage of them performing that song in Paris with the original lyrics, and there's a demo of that track on the Ozman Comet compilation many years before. In fact, it was supposed to have been War Pigs was supposed to have been the original title for Paranoid, hence seeing the guy come jumping out from a tree with a helmet, shield, and
Yeah.
sword, ready to strike. But the record label figured too much controversy over that pertaining, I guess, to the controversy to the last record there, and they decided to change it to Paranoid.
Yeah. And my number one, Wheels of Confusion Straightener.
Oh yeah, from the Volume 4 album there.
Right.
Yep. As I mentioned,
And the,
is go ahead.
and I left off some good stuff here.
I know, because there was a lot of good stuff there. You see, I told you this is one of the reasons why I have issues doing lists here and there.
I mean, their version of Evil Woman,
Oh yeah,
which,
which was really was recorded by the band Crow.
right.
Yes, and also the track Warning from the first album that was originally done by a project called Ainsley Dunbar's Retribution.
Right.
It's on YouTube right now, definitely. And also, it's a special nod off to the model of that first album, Louisa Livingston, who who was 19 at the time when she did the modeling for that album cover. There was a few out there that was like half where she was posing half naked. She was nude underneath that robe, by the way. And the location that they did it at was this waterfall in Oxfordshire, England. There, and I still today want to find. You've seen these Funko Pop figures of use.
Right.
They have. I want to find this one where it's like, it's kind of like a recreation of that first album cover.
Oh, that
I
would
would,
be good.
you know, I would love to see that. I would love to get that. Definitely hanging on, put in my room there. Hey, check this out, everybody! Yay! Because
Yeah.
that was a record that really got me into heavy metal.
Yeah, it was hard not to after hearing that album.
I mean, that was considered. In fact, that's considered the one of the first full heavy metal album.
Uh
To
huh.
many others. All right, definitely not off to the Sabbath. Sadly, decided to call it quits in 2017 there, and I guess Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler got together with Vinny Appice, their drummer from the second era, and they got together with Glenn Hughes, who sang on Sabbath for one album and half a tour. They revised their Heaven and Hell project, singing
Huh.
only the Dio
That's actually
tracks.
a pretty good album.
Yeah, which one?
The Heaven and Hell album.
Oh yeah, it is. It is, and Mob Rules is a pretty good album just as well as Dehumanizer. Those are the three studio ones they did with Ronnie James Dio there. But we'll definitely get to that later on.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the next band I got, I don't know if you want to call them metal or just plain heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Mountain.
Well, in a lot of ways, they come up with some pretty heavy stuff that can be influential to heavy metal. Because not just Mississippi Queen, everybody knows that song like the back of their hand there, but they did come up with some heavy stuff there. And by the way, for the record, rest in peace to their founding member and guitarist and singer Leslie West. He died last year at the age of 72, 73 there, and he still continued to play guitar, no matter what happened to him. I know if you remember what happened to him a few years prior to this, he lost half of his leg to the type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was supposed to get a prosthetic leg, but I don't know if that actually happened or not because there was a few footages out there, in that wheelchair, playing guitar, this and that here.
I did make a list for him, I'm wondering how many of these songs you've heard.
Yeah, definitely lay it on me there. I've heard the Mississippi Queen theme from an imaginary western there.
Okay, number 10, I got a song called Tired Angels.
All right. Okay.
Number 9, To My Friend.
Mm.
Number 8, For Yazger's Farm, which is on their best album, Climbing.
Ah, yeah, that's one they always talk about there.
Number 7, I got Silver Paper, same album.
All right.
Number 6, Don't Look Back.
All
It's
right.
definitely a heavy tinge song.
Okay.
Number 5, I got Mississippi Queen.
Oh yeah, the one we all know, like I said, we all know to heart.
Number 4, Never in My Life.
Hmm.
Number 3, a song called My Lady, which is a pretty good song.
Yep.
My number 2 is Theme for an Imaginary Western. I
Yeah.
really like that one.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. That was on a That was a thing called Woodstock 2, which it was.
Yeah,
I guess they did play the Woodstock Festival that in '69, and I guess there was so much recorded stuff from that whole festival there that didn't make it onto the first Woodstock soundtrack album. They decided to put out Woodstock 2. And a couple of tracks, including that one, was included on that particular album.
yeah, that was definitely some good stuff on all
And
that.
by the way, there was there I saw in the Barnes and Noble vinyl section there is a Woodstock 3 featuring some stuff from Jefferson Airplane and a few others as well.
Yeah,
They
and
should probably put out a whole complete Woodstock featuring all the performances, all the
a box
bands,
set.
a box set precisely. They need to do that along with the complete movie, remastered, re-edited,
Right,
and everything else.
right. Because there's
Absolutely.
probably footage we've never seen.
Yeah, I know. In fact, they should have done it during the anniversary couple years ago. When you think about it.
Yeah, yeah. My number 1 by that group is something called Nantucket Sleigh Ride.
Ah, I think about hearing that title. I haven't heard the track yet there, but definitely worth checking out. And
They do a live version that's 17 minutes long.
wow, that's interesting. Definitely got to check that out for shizzle.
Yeah. Well, actually, they do a second live version that's like
Uh,
33 minutes long.
damn.
It was one of their concert staples.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. Every band
They
has a.
never,
Go ahead.
I never really heard them extend Mississippi Queen. They kind of left that one as is.
Yeah, usually when they often extend that, it gets tiresome at the time when it's a big hit song there. But that's how it is, you know. Even though there were a couple of times, you know, Ozzy would do a paranoid, extend paranoid, you know, what? Let me hear ya, yay, and that's usually after the guitar solo. They did that a couple of
Right,
times, and Sabbath did the same thing when they got back together in 2013.
right.
Yeah,
But Mountain is definitely worth a listen if you've never heard them.
yeah.
There's a lot of really, really hard songs,
Aha.
and they're definitely worth a listen.
Absolutely, folks. Take it from the Arky there, folks.
Well, the next one I have, I don't know if this is metal or not. I don't think so, but I'll mention it in case you think they're metal.
All right.
Nazareth.
Well, they're part of influential to heavy metal just as well. I mean, like the stuff like Razaman Naz, Too Close for Rock and Roll, and of course the old-time mighty Hair of the Dog. There is often considered
Oh, that's definitely metal.
yeah, definitely because of the way the songs are performed, the way the Dan McCafferty which yell out, belt out tunes the way he does with his vocals there. It's kind of like a help predecessor to metal, no doubt about that there.
Actually, I'm looking at my list, and a lot of these are metal.
Yeah.
Uh, my number 10 is Broken Down Angel.
Mm-hmm.
My number 9 is Shanghai and Shanghai.
Yep.
My number 8 is Faking It. My number 7 is Homesick Again.
Ah.
My number 6 is Love Hurts.
Oh yeah.
Got to put that on there somewhere.
Absolutely. And you know what? You can. By the way, you cannot count how many times that song was re-recorded. It was
Yeah,
first originally done by let's see, Everly Brothers, Roy Orbison did it. Jim
Yep.
Capaldi from Traffic did his version. Nazareth did their version. Joan Jett did her version. Even Cher did her version. And then Nancy Wilson of Heart did their little version live on a radio show in homage to Kurt Cobain after his suicide. I mean, the song keeps getting. In fact, there's even a jazz guitar version instrumental of that track there, believe it or not.
Wow. Okay, my number 5 is Razumnaz.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned that track. I remember hearing that a couple times in the past.
It definitely has a metal tinge to
Yeah,
it.
definitely, absolutely. I would love to see the Detroit band Seduce get back together and do their cover version of that track there.
Yeah. Number 4 is kind of an interesting song, I suppose.
Yep.
Holiday.
Oh, yeah, from Malice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was a big hit on the radio at that time. 1980 was when that song came out. I remember I remember seeing the video for that track on the old MTV. Believe it or
When
not.
they used to play music.
Yeah, before it became commercial radio music that you watch.
Yeah.
And this is around 82, around 82 when that video was being played massively.
Yeah. Number 3 I got is This Flight Tonight, which is a
Joni Mitchell cover.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I remember hearing that as well. It's Canadian rock station back in Michigan used to play that a lot of times there. Pretty good
song.
Pretty good. Yeah, very good song. I would definitely agree.
Yeah. And my number 2 is Love Leads to Madness.
Ah, good title there, and pretty much it's truthful with the title there because we've seen that happen many times before in many cases.
Yeah. And my number 1 is Hair of the Dog.
Absolutely, and which definitely that was, from what I understand, it was recorded in one of the cheapest, greasiest studios ever, and it sold and access to double platinum, from what I understand. And believe it or not, here's a little story behind the UK version of that album and the US version. The UK version of that album, in the place of Love Hurts, was a track called Guilty, originally recorded by Randy Newman. Now, when they took the album, when they presented the album to Jerry Moss from A&M Records, Jerry Moss decided, hey, we have this album, we have the song Love Hurts, which was recorded separately. It was supposed to be a separate single. They decided, hey, let's take off Guilty and put Love Hurts in its place. And of course, Love Hurts, as we know, would become one of the most respected and beloved rock ballads of all over rock and roll there. So basically Jerry Moss did the band a favor by doing that. Now I remember having the reissued version that was a birthday present from me, from my girlfriend at the time. It had both Love Hurts and Guilty and a bunch of other tracks like Railroad Boy, and the track Down, which was a B-side to one of their other songs, B-single there. It's you got to give that album and the band you got to give up to Nazareth. You got to give them up because they're still together, but however, it's the bass player, the original bass player with a couple of new members along with it. And I would love to see... What? Go ahead.
Were they Swedish or Scottish?
They were Scottish.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they were.
But a great group.
It was, yeah, definitely. I would love to see the original band get back together, but sadly, the original drummer, Daryl Sweet, he's no longer on this planet there.
Right.
Yeah, I guess Dan McCafferty retired from the road, I guess, for some reason I'm not too sure about.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have to look it up, I guess.
Next group is a well, I'm trying to decide whether they're metal or prog.
Hmm.
Uriah Heep.
Well, they're kind of like a little bit both when you think about it there, because
Yeah,
it,
why don't we save them for prog?
yeah, well, but we could do some of their stuff now because I remember how I was a big fan of their album, "Sweet Freedom" from '73.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely,
I have two
because
of the songs on that album on my top 10.
nice, yeah, cool. Because I remember I have my dad had this collection of cassette tapes, and one of them was that particular album. Sweet
Yep,
Freedom in its original way, it was in original form, believe it or not. And of course, back then, record labels like Warner Brothers would often, switch some of the songs around.
right,
Yeah, like
right.
for instance, so the songs on side one would be end up on side two on the cassette version, and vice versa. They did that
Yeah,
with
because
Sabbath. Go
it
ahead.
was a timing thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It wasn't like, later on during the 80s, like where Warner Brothers would see like one side of this, there's extra space on this tape because of the length of the album sides here.
Well, when Tommy by the Who originally came out, I bought the 8 track,
Hmm.
and it was years before I realized that they had left off, I think it was 3 songs
Yeah.
off the 8 track completely. And then they
Wow.
cut another one short. And when I heard the album for the first time, I was like, hey, where did these come from?
Yeah, I know. They did the same thing with Ummagumma by Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
They just had
yeah, it's just kind of,
Astronomy. They had Astronomy Domini, the live version there, and the rest was all the experimental tracks featuring highlights from the main members there.
yeah. Well, Uriah Heep, number 10, I got Easy Living.
Great song there. I remember hearing that there.
Number 9, I got it's Stealing
Oh yeah, from
off
Sweet
of Sweet
Freedom.
Freedom.
That's one of their biggest songs, definitely next to Easy Living there.
Yeah. Number 8, I got a Sweet Lorraine.
Yep, I remember hearing that just as well there.
Number 7 is the title track from Look at Yourself, Look at
Yep.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Number 6 is July Morning. Number 5 I got is The Wizard
Oh yeah.
off of Demons and Wizards. That's a great song.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I got number 4 is Gypsy, but I'm talking about the live version off the
Ah, the
live
live
album.
version. Yeah, I see there. Yeah. Because I remember the original was one of their first record,
Yep.
here in the States was called just Uriah Heep. In the UK, however, it was called Very Heavy, Very Humble,
Yeah.
with a very
Yeah.
creepy cover for that release there.
Yeah. But that's a great song on the live
It
album. Well, it's a
is.
great song, but on the live album, it's got a great Moog uh, solo in it.
Yes, from Ken Hensley, rest in peace. He was one of the co-founders of the group.
Number 3, I got a song called What Should Be Done.
Right.
That's worth a listen.
Absolutely.
Number 2, I got is Sweet Freedom. I really like that song.
It is a great song. It is.
And number 1 for me is a 2-part song, you might call it. It's actually 2 songs that combine into one. Paradise the Spell.
Ah, I see there.
If you ever get a chance, if you've never heard that, you need to hear that one. That is an incredible song.
Nice. Definitely got to check it out there. And also, rest in peace to the original frontman, David Bryan, who passed away in 1985. I guess it was too much alcohol was the issue there. And also,
Yeah,
rest in peace to their drummer, Lee Kerslake, who died from cancer about a couple years back. Not only did he play with Uriah Heep, into the 70s and 80s, up until his retirement, he also played with Ozzy Osbourne's original Blizzard of Oz lineup on both Diary of a Madman and Blizzard of Oz. He sadly passed away from cancer. I guess it was
wow.
in 2019 or 2020, I guess it was, which is sad.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I guess Mick Box, the founding member of the group, he has his own little lineup there. He's the only original member left, I guess.
yeah. The rest of them are gone, I think.
Yeah. I guess including the original. I guess one of the original bass players, whose name escapes me at this moment.
Yeah. Now the next band, there's no question that they're one of the metal pioneers, sort of
Absolutely.
a pioneer.
Yep.
They came after a while, and that's the Van Halen.
Van Halen. The Van Halen.
Yeah, and I
Really.
kind of pulled from both eras
Oh yeah. So
because
like
to me there's two of them,
yeah, we
David Lee
all
Roth and Sammy Hagar.
yeah, I know. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. You are definitely missed, dude. Thank you for all
Yep,
the guitar work you have inspired us to do.
yeah. Number 10 I got is Why Can't This Be Love?
Yep. From the 5150 with our first one with Sammy there.
Yeah. And number 9 I got is their cover of You're No Good, the Linda Ronstadt song.
Yeah, from Van Halen 2 there.
Yeah. Number 8 is their cover of the Kinks song You Really Got Me.
Oh yeah, from the first album. That was a big hit. Still played on the radio today.
Number 7 is yet another cover, Pretty Woman.
Oh yeah, the Roy Orbison. You remember the video for that track?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the most crazy ass video Van Halen ever did. If anybody who has not seen the original video for that, it combines a track called Intruder, which was a leftover from Fair Warning, and they mixed it in right into Pretty Woman into that video there. It's also on the album as well. Diver Down, I should say.
Right. Number 6, 1984.
Oh yeah, the track 1984, which was a synth
Right.
intro waited before they went into excuse me, the song Jump, which would become their first number one hit.
And my number 5 is Jump.
Yep, which proceeds right after. And that was the first album that would, well, it's actually would be the first album to officially announce Eddie Van Halen as a keyboard player, because you remember he played the keyboards a couple times on a couple of earlier tracks, but they were not credited as keyboards because at that time metal bands were not supposed to include keyboards unless it's backing or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. But here's a little hint. I'm sure everybody knows this now. Eddie played what is it, a Rhodes keyboard throughout on the song "And the Cradle Will Rock" for the third album, Women and Children Third.
Right.
First, he played it through a stack of Marshalls with some distortion added into it to make it sound like a guitar there. But you could tell it was definitely done on a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It was
My
right
number
before,
4.
right before David Lee Roth says, "Have you seen Junior's grades?" You could tell that is a keyboard in that track there.
Yeah. Number 4 got I'll Wait.
From 1984 as well, kind of like a guy obsessed over this beautiful model he sees on the magazine.
Yeah. And number 3 I got is Love Walks In.
Yeah, from 5150 again with Sammy.
And we're going to go back to the first album for number 2. Jamie's Crying.
Oh yeah, about a girl who's heartbroken because she didn't put out for her for the man she was seeing, and I guess because she didn't put out, he cuts her down both emotionally and verbally.
Man. Yeah. I mean, subject matter in some of these songs are interesting.
Very interesting, and we have seen it many times before.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. And then my number 1 is also off the first album, Running with the Devil.
Oh yeah, which by the way, that little sound that you hear in the beginning there, that's a whole bunch of car horns mixed in together there.
Yeah, they definitely innovators on different sounds and such.
Absolutely, man. They were. And of course, before we stop, I gotta say this. Before Eddie passed away, we heard that him and Sammy Hagar cleared things up because those two were not on speaking terms for a good number of years. But I'm wondering, was Eddie able to patch things up with Michael Anthony? Because, when you think about it, Michael Anthony really got screwed over. In 2004, he had to sell his share of the rights to the name and such. And I guess Eddie didn't want Michael to participate on that tour with Sammy back in 2004. And as you
Yeah.
recall, he replaced Anthony with his son Wolfgang. And a lot of fans were not happy over that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And the thing I want
I
to
don't know.
know,
I never heard anything about that. If they put it together or not.
you know,
I don't know.
it would have been nice, to know that Eddie would at least, say, "Hey, Michael, I'm really sorry that we didn't include you in those reunion tours with Roth, but there was a couple reasons. It could at least explain the reasons why."
I think he had a huge drinking problem, but I could be wrong.
For why not really? Because why not? For I understand is because he was spending time playing with Sammy. Because
Yeah.
because I guess you remember he joined a lot. Him and Sammy became the best of friends, and when
Yeah.
they decided to get back to when he decided to excuse me, when Sammy decided to go back to being a solo artist after the whole blow up between him and Eddie, they decided, Mike, after Van Halen 3 with Gary Cherone, which was not that good of a record, for I understand. Well, of course, the
No.
song, but of course, it was co-produced by the same guy who wrote the theme for Hill Street Blues and Law and Order. What do you expect? And I just, it just didn't really. It wouldn't. They could at least, patch things up, because I'm sure deep down Michael Anthony's mind, he's like, why, Eddie? Why was I booted out? Why was I shunned? Why was I cut out of all this? What did I do?
Yeah.
Just
I don't know.
I know we'll never know. Probably if there's a book out there that will probably they'll probably tell us in the future there. If there's a new one, the only one I know was their ex-manager Noel Monk, detailing the early years when he was their manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one I got is, I guess, metal, but he's basically borderline. Is Ted Nugent.
Ah, the Motor City Madman. Who, by the way,
He's
I hope if you heard he was tested positive for COVID-19 not too long ago. I
mm,
hope he's doing good there.
yeah. Number 10 I got is their cover of a Beatles song, I Want to Tell You.
Oh yeah, great track there. I remember that came from the State of Shock album in 1979.
Yeah.
That was played on the radio heavily, along with the other track, Paralyzed.
Yep. Number 9 I got is Cat Scratch Fever, which everybody knows that song.
Absolutely. We know what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And number 8 is Dog Eat Dog.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that as well.
Number 7 I got is Free for All.
Yeah, great track there. I remember the band Sweet Teas, a local outfit from Detroit, did that cover tune of that song many times in their live sets when they played the Ritz and on
Yep.
New York, New York.
Yeah. Where was I?
Mm-hmm. 8, 7. It,
Some great songs on that album.
yep, great
And then
album
number
there.
2
Many times in their live sets when they played the Ritz and on New
and
York,
number
New York.
1, oh, let's have a drum roll. I think everybody knows what that's going to be.
We all know it. Let me guess.
Stranglehold.
Yep, absolutely there. I remember Ted Nugent did a radio stint in the morning there at one of the local rock stations, and he was playing along to that song there.
Wow.
And for some reason, I don't know why, but we are lagging. I don't know what the heck is going on here.
Yeah, I see a little circle turning.
Yeah, I see. Is the lagging on your end as well, man?
Oh, I don't have mine open.
Oh
I
man, so
look at
definitely get
yours.
it on. Definitely open yours and see what's going on. It's back to normal now, thank goodness.
Yeah. Hope we didn't lose anybody.
I hope no. No, there's still about a couple people watching there.
Yeah. Okay. Next band I got Rainbow. Rainbow.
Oh yeah, this is Richie Blackmore's band after departing from Deep Purple. They would go on to
Right.
record a number of. They had a couple of main members up there. Tony Carey, who later formed the Planet P project and have a solo career as well in the 80s. Ronnie James Dio, who later joined Black Sabbath to put together his own group. And of course,
Yeah.
Cozy Powell, the drummer, who would later would join in with Black Glenn. And I guess
Right.
they also had Jimmy Bain, who would later join Ronnie James Dio as well in his the band Dio.
Yeah. Number 10 I got is 16th Century Greensleeves
I don't think I heard that one there.
on the first album.
Okay. What is the name of the album? Well, Rising, I guess it's called, or was it called Richie Blackmore's Rainbow? If I
I
remember.
think that one is Richie Blackmore's Rainbow.
Okay,
The second one was Rising.
okay there.
I believe that's correct.
Okay there. Thanks for letting me know.
Number 9 is their version of Still I'm Sad, which is the old Yardbird song.
Ah, interesting there.
Number 8 is Tear It Woman.
All right.
Number 7 is Catch the Rainbow.
All right.
Number 6 is Kill the King.
Yeah, we heard that song many times before. A couple times there. That's considered a classic from them.
Number 5 I got is Stargazer.
Uh-huh.
Number 4 is Long Live Rock and Roll.
It's interesting. According to that album, the band was having issues with a lot of things there. It seems that this spirit named Baal, Baal, was causing mischief during the recording of that album. In fact, at one point, his Dio's mate at that time, she fell down the stairs, and apparently, she blamed it on Ronnie.
Wow.
Even knowing that. So on the back of that album, underneath the credits, it says, "No thanks to Baal."
Mm.
Yes.
Number 3 is Man on the Silver Mountain.
Another classic from Dio there. Well, actually, Dio and Richie there. One of the still regarded as one of the nicknames that Dio would have with him throughout his career.
Yeah. Number 2, Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm. By the way, that's with Joe Lynn Turner on front as her frontman from 1982 there. It was
And
on
then
the
my number 1. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, which, by the way, that if you ever saw the MTV concert featuring that particular lineup, featuring Roger Glover, Joe Lynn Turner, Bobby Rodinelli, and Don Airey, definitely check it out. It's recorded in San Antonio, Texas, around that year. It is a phenomenal concert there.
Yeah. And my number 1 by that group for me is Street of Dreams.
Oh yeah, also with Joe Lynn Turner there. That came out a year after on an album called Bent Out of Shape. And I guess a few...
Yeah, which had a weird album cover.
Yeah, a lot of feminists were complaining about that album cover because it showed a woman that's kind of like coming out of somewhat of a woman's genitalia.
Yeah, I mean, you could make anything you wanted to out of it, but I guess they chose to go that route.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it was intended to be like that, but you know how some people are. They tend to think of this, they tend to think that, blah, 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 here and there. But you know how some of these so-called activists are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're at the hour mark, so I'm thinking maybe what we do
Mm-hmm.
is do a part two
Yep.
next time you're available.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm definitely looking forward to doing that there. Yeah,
Because that's when we probably are going to hit on Deep Purple and Led
yeah,
Zeppelin.
absolutely. We got to include those two guys, those two groups in there included because they played a big part in the heavy metal scene as well. There, you got to give it up to John Lord for being a absolute cranker on that organ of his there.
In fact, for a preview, uh, we'll also talk about Kiss a little bit,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Humble Pie,
Oh man.
uh, borderline Bachman Turner Overdrive. They weren't metal per se,
But it was
but they're
hard.
close.
Yeah, it was very
But they're
hard there.
close.
Yeah.
Mahogany Rush.
Yeah. Frank Marino, another Canadian, respected Canadian musician there, if I understand.
Yeah. And let's see, I already mentioned Deep Purple.
Hmm. Early Rush, by the way, when they first started
Well,
out.
I, I've got Foghat
Hmm.
and Rush.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can't wait till the next episode where we discuss those bands there.
That's basically the bands we'll talk about in the next episode.
Yeah, absolutely there. Which I hope you will be sometime this week, next week there. You know, have to wait and see what goes on there. Oh yeah, those.
Okay. Well,
Okay
now
there.
that you have my email address, just send it there because I
Absolutely.
read my email on a regular basis.
That's good. That's right. All right, so I guess I'll do it for that tonight's episode there. And
Okay.
of course, I tried to get YR on the program here to add his contribution, but I guess he was not available. So next time, YR, definitely, if you're available, I'll definitely add you. Let me know if you wanted to be added on to the call there. And also shout out to Minnesota Vikings fan and Minnesota Super Bowl there. They were on last night there, as I'm told Arky. I was able to join in for a while on the Uber ride back home. I told him I was going to be joining them when it got back online there after I got inside there, but I guess he kind of ended the show earlier. I guess.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
then I guess that we're done.
Okay, done for now there. So until the next on my next day off there. All right, I
Right.
guess. All right, so I'll definitely will conclude this episode of our early early metal bands out there, or it's bands that would lay a ground for heavy metal when you think about it.
Right.
All right, so for Arknolia and myself, this is our music memory series episode 36. Next week we look forward to episode 37 there.